We had years ago was an actual little name tent, which was perfect.
That'd be a good idea. Okay, that's a good idea. We should do that for next time.
I don't remember all the people.
I don't, for sure.
Boy.
That's a good idea. You got a frog in your throat?
Ready? Okay.
Thank you.
Sounds like we're live, so good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Aging and Disability Resource Center Advisory Committee. I will officially call the meeting to order. My name is Scott Brown. By virtue of, popular throwing me to the ground and saying you're going to be the president last time, and I appreciate that, but I didn't want to volunteer for it in case somebody else wanted it. So at the present time, I'm your president, and our vice president is, she's gone now, Dora Jean Blaha.
She's here.
She had been here, yep.
I just saw her.
Okay. She'll be coming out any moment. So I'd like to go around the room. We usually do introductions first, and we do have a couple new faces, or at least one. Eileen Harrison is here, and she can introduce herself a little bit. So just tell us who you are and where you're from. And maybe if you've been on the board, for a number of years, or if you're fairly new to it. So we'll do that, and we'll start with Melissa here.
Good morning. So my name is Melissa Youngbauer, and I am the Aging and Disability Resource Center, the supervisor. So I just started in April, so just about 2 months ago now. So this is my second meeting. I think I had just started when we had our first meeting. So welcome.
I guess. Tammy, you're right.
I should know that. Of anybody, I should. So my name is Tammy Munson. I'm the admin girl over at the ADRC. So usually if you call there, I will be the one that you get on the phone.
Hello, I'm Christine Service. I'm the Transportation Nutrition Coordinator for the ADRC.
I am Nancy Hobble from Gillsville, and nothing important here, I guess.
I'm Eileen Harrison from Gillsville, and this is my first meeting, so I'll listen and learn.
I need to push a button. Yeah, just push the one with the little face on it, or the little head.
My name's Omar Sharif. Well, all right, 30 years ago, I was confused for him when I was walking down the street in Milwaukee.
Oh, he's so handsome. But I can't see your whole face.
That's okay. No, my name's Alan Robertson. This is my first meeting, and I live in Blair. I'm glad to be here.
I'm Ruth Gullicksrud. I'm from Strum. I'm Dora Jean Blaha. I'm from Independence.
I'm Mary Beck from Whitehall.
Linda Schaefer from Whitehall.
Sherry Rackhanes from Arcadia.
I'm Jeannie Nutter. I live in Strum, or outside of Strum, and I am on the county board representing District 15.
And I'm Beth Killian, County Board Supervisor from District 7 from Arcadia.
Thank you, everyone. The open meeting law requirements have been met through the proper posting. And now we're here at the staff updates. So that's you, Melissa.
It is. So again, I started as a supervisor of the ADRC back in April, and I'm thoroughly enjoying my position. So right now we have one position open. It is the Dementia Care Specialist position. That is a position that has been open since before I started at the ADRC. It is a shared position with Buffalo and Pepin counties. So we are the ones that have the position. The position has been posted on the county website. It's been posted internally for several months now. We really just have not had a whole lot of interest in that position. So right now, that is our only open position.
That's the dementia care.
Yep, dementia care specialist. Mhm.
Some recent grads from UW Eau Claire in August.
Yeah.
I'll put it on their website, or I'll give it to Jean.
That would be good. We do have one of our intake workers at the ADRC, graduated, I believe, about 2 years ago from Eau Claire, and she had just reached out to them recently as well to post that and to make it known. But we are eager to get that position filled, as I do believe Buffalo and Pepin are as well, because again, it's a shared position. So, yeah, so I would love to say that there's been some movement in that when we meet in 2 months. So.
Very good. I failed to ask, is there anyone online today? Last month, or 2 months ago, we had someone online. So I don't know if there's someone out there.
You'd see it on the screen.
We would, okay. Yes?
Speaking of online, that's an awfully long,
Link?
oh, it's an awfully long thing to put in to get on Zoom.
All you have to do is click on it. Just put your mouse over it and click on it, and you automatically get
How do I
admitted.
get to it, though? I
Generally,
just don't
if-
understand. So
yeah.
if I'm not here, I probably won't be on Zoom either.
Oh, okay. Yeah, generally,
Well-
you get an announcement of the meeting, and I think, in fact, yesterday I got, this came through email yesterday, it's the agenda, and that's the Zoom address right there. All you have to do is take your mouse, like I say, you get the arrow, and you click on that, and you'll automatically be admitted to the meeting.
Oh, so you don't have to put in all those numbers?
No.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Click on it.
I would
That was
say
pretty-
too, if anybody has any, difficulty with that, just call our office. And so somebody would be able to help you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, it takes you right to the meeting. You don't even have to do anything else.
Mhm.
I've been on lots of Zoom calls this past year, and I even set them up. I have a professional Zoom link just because of all the different groups that I'm with, and it's very easy to set up, and that you just email that out to everybody, they click on it, and then you just let them in. As the host, you have the right to, there are some people that try to sneak in, but you get the name of the person up there, and then you just click on their name and you let them in, so. Yep, it's been a really good thing to have. Okay, next on our agenda, update on nutrition and dining programs and resuming in-person services. And Chris, you're going to do that, I understand?
Yeah, I can, I was gonna say, Chris can help me. Just to kind of recap of what happened at the last meeting, we did talk about resuming the congregate dining. And so just so everybody that is here is aware, because we do have some new people, but right now we have congregate sites that had been open throughout COVID, that had been doing the carryouts. Those were happening at Boondocks, they were happening at Pine Creek, and they were happening at Rainbow. So at our last meeting, it was a recommendation that we begin moving forward with opening those 3 sites for in-person dining. And so we had put together a plan that really was based on what some of the other counties in our state had been doing, and based on just recommendations from the CDC. And we worked with the health department, the Trempealeau County Health Department, and came up with a list of guidelines that need to be followed. So they really had to do with safety. It was all looking at safety. Masks are required at these meal sites. Had a lot to do with just cleaning and disinfecting, those kinds of processes and procedures, and requiring that the dining sites educate their staff and educate the patrons that are coming in as far as, again, safety, and if you're sick, of course, we want you to stay home, those kinds of things. So we were able to get that into place, and the Human Services Board also approved of that, and And we were able to open on June 1st. So that happened. Chris went and did visits with all of the sites, in-person visits, and went over all of those recommendations and requirements. And so everything was in place. All of the restaurants felt comfortable, felt ready to go, which that was what they had been telling us prior to this conversation that we started. And so they did open June 1st. But so I guess just specifically regarding that, Chris, maybe if you want to talk about kind of what those visits were like and the feedback that you had gotten from restaurants and how things seem to be going, I guess that would be great.
I guess the sites were ready to open. Some people were ready to do in-person dining. The one thing Melissa didn't mention is that they still are able, if they're not comfortable going to the in-person dining, they can still do a carry-out. So they can still participate even if they don't want to stay at the restaurant. That's something the state changed before COVID. You could never you weren't not supposed to take a takeout from a senior dining because they wanted people to congregate and socialize, to get people out and socializing. So some were very anxious to start doing that again. I guess Mary from Boondocks and Bob from Rainbow were very much willing to do what they needed to do to be able to safely serve people again. Pine Creek Dodge, those ladies there, that's our nutrition site, are always very willing to do whatever they need to. I did get a message from Mary from Boondocks yesterday that she was very excited. She had 20 seniors that came in and dined yesterday. So some people are ready and some are still doing takeouts. Melissa had also wanted me to mention about volunteers. Right, I can mention that now? Okay. So we have always need for home delivered meal drivers that would like to volunteer. I have some paid drivers, and I have some home delivered meal drivers that volunteer their time and their mileage, and some that volunteer just their time and get paid mileage. If that's something any of you are ever interested in, you just need to get a hold of us at the ADRC or mention it if somebody is interested in just doing, a couple hours of going and taking a meal to somebody. We can always talk about what that involves, and there's normally just a little bit of training that if somebody's interested, I normally take them on a route to show them what it's all about, to make sure that what they are thinking it is what it is, and can get people started on that. We have a volunteer driver program that probably Linda could tell you more about. Linda's been a volunteer driver for us for a long time. That is, again, volunteering your time, but we do reimburse mileage, and that's taking people to their medical appointments, sometimes just in Whitehall, Arcadia, and at other times to Eau Claire, La Crosse, Rochester, Mayo, St. Paul, wherever they need to go. And people that have medical appointments just need to sign up, as long as they're 60 or older and can get in and out of 60 or older or disabled and can get in and out of a vehicle with minimal help, they would be eligible to use that program. Anybody have any questions?
I do on the meal sites.
Yep.
We have this meal site review. Are we still using them?
Yes.
Okay.
That was probably one you got last year.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Yep, at some point, me or the nutrition director or Melissa will be asking, that's with the nutrition committee meeting. That meets after the advisory meeting. But I guess if any of yous would like to, it's just going to a dining site for a senior meal and rating them, letting us know how they're doing. Not necessarily letting them know that you're doing this, so that we see that they are treating seniors the way they should and following the regulations and things that they're supposed to.
Okay.
Okay? Any other questions?
Yes, does anybody else have any other questions regarding the congregate dining? I should perhaps have mentioned Rainbow and Boondocks are now, they're having their dining 5 days a week, and the Pine Creek site is 2 days a week.
Yeah, that's a change. Rainbow was always the 5 days a week, but it was approved to have Boondocks go to 5 days a week, so that was
Throughout
probably approved.
2021.
That was probably
right.
approved last year at this meeting, or last month, or 2 months ago at this
At
meeting.
the Human Services
Oh,
Board
Human
is when it got
Okay.
approved. Yeah, and it was approved through 2021.
Are they happy to be doing it 5 days a week?
Yes, they've wanted to since, more or less since they started.
Yeah.
And the seniors are also. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't have, I can't say I have many complaints at all, or can't even remember offhand any complaints on meals.
I've never heard any
No,
complaints.
no. Rainbow either.
No, yeah.
So I think we got some good sites. We do need to look in the next RFP period for more up,
North.
way. Hopefully we can find somebody, but I think it's a struggle right now for restaurants in general, so it's probably a struggle if they wanted to do the home delivery, or the senior dining too, so.
I have a question, because I'm from Arcadia,
Yep,
and I've lived there all my life.
yep.
And I am very concerned about the fact that I would like to see something in Arcadia done as a site. What criteria do they have to follow? Can you give me anything so I could go out and
That is
promote
the
this
next.
in our restaurants or whatever to see what we need to do? Or, you know, we have a
And you can
PCCW
get
in
to
our
that, too.
church, and wondering what that criteria would be. If we couldn't do it every day of the week, but start thinking about doing something. And I have a board meeting with our ladies in July, and I'm going to propose this to them to see if we have an interest,
Yep.
because there is a high need in our community.
That's a good segue, because our very next item on the agenda is that very thing.
Good.
So-
Yeah.
Good, good.
Led us down the path.
If, yes, you did, yeah. If it's okay,
It
yeah.
is,
And
yes.
we, as far as I'm
Good.
concerned, if anybody else has any other questions regarding in-person services, we can go back to that. We didn't touch base on the busing, which maybe that is something that people wanted to hear about, because that did resume as well. So I don't know if,
Pine
think-
Creek is a church, right?
Yep, well, they're in a church.
Yeah, they're in a
at the
church, right,
Sacred
right.
Heart Church in Pine Creek.
Are there,
And it's actually a dining site that we
right,
run.
yeah, we've
Yep.
had a couple meetings there. My mind goes right to like Emmanuel in Strum. I mean, are you still at that church? No, you're at my, okay. I mean, they have a great kitchen, and, I mean, and the women in that church have always been really active. I don't know if that's, but it's good to talk about criteria, because I was like thinking, what restaurants are in Osseo besides?
so why don't we just jump into that then?
Please.
So, yes, absolutely. So we had spent time and worked on then, because again, we have identified that we would like more sites in our county besides the 3 that we just discussed. And so we had put together requests for proposals. So we were looking for additional sites that were interested in becoming congregate meal partners. And so we had came up with a database. We mailed these requests for proposals out to, I mean, every restaurant that we could think of. We even included golf courses. I mean, any kind of establishment that is known to have served food, we sent them throughout the entire county. So out of Arcadia, we sent them to probably about 10 different establishments. Those bids were due on June 3rd. So last week. We had also done some advertising. We had put the requests in the Trempealeau County Times, the Ad Delight, and the Arrow Shopper. So we did, again, kind of go out and sought people that were interested in doing it. I had one restaurant owner call me and he was very kind and just said, I'm sorry, but we're not interested. So it was nice to hear from him, let me know that he got it, and was very kind. But besides that, we did not have any other persons, submit or show interest. So, I do look at it as an opportunity. I do feel, and the state has also talked to us about looking at, this as an opportunity to open up conversations and actually talk about strategy as far as what do you want these sites to look like. So I think it could potentially be an exciting time, because I do feel like there are parts of our county that are underserved. I have had some conversations with people in the state. There are places that are doing some really innovative, creative kinds of things and partnering with not only restaurants but caterers, even food trucks that are doing like some pop-up things, and even not Monday through Friday, not even one day a week, but doing some things even one day a month. So going to, and again, these are just some things that I've heard of other counties doing, but you think about the potential and the number of people that you could reach, and not only to have the experience of dining and a nutritious meal, but just the kind of information and the resources that the ADRC can share with people. I think it could be really exciting. They did talk about, I think it was Brown County, so a very large county, but they do a pop-up site at some sort of a center in that county where they have over 100 people that come when they do it once a month. And then they do look at it as they will have blood pressure checks and different things like that it's almost like a kind of a fair. So I think, I appreciate your comment. I agree. There are things, I would like to see additional sites, and I think there's a lot of opportunity.
I think what would be a good thing is for you to get maybe a packet from Melissa. It's not going to be able to be done until the next RFPs goes out. But that would give you a chance to talk to you're with the Historical Society?
I'm with Holy Family Catholic Church.
Oh, okay.
But I also know, I'm very familiar with Arcadia. I'm very familiar with all the restaurants. I'm very familiar with that. And I think that we need to have some influence to find out what this is going to be. It's not the right time, though, because with the pandemic, of course, it has lost people a lot of their own staff.
Yep.
But I think if there is something that's appealing,
Yep.
and because my ladies in our church are getting elderly,
Yep.
and I'm getting elderly, that I just feel that we need to promote something, but I don't know what.
Right, and it would be
So-
good to get that information now so you can plan instead of when it comes out, you got a short period of time to do it, so.
Yes, I'd be very interested in doing that legwork in Arcadia. I think it's important.
That would be fantastic.
Thank you.
And for Eileen's sake, with these senior meals, generally we ask people to do a donation of $4 per meal, but the county supplements for the restaurant. So that when they do their RFP, they say we can serve a meal for, let's just say, $7.85. The county supplements then what they don't take in for that particular day. So everybody danced. So that's kind of how that works. It's a wonderful opportunity to have a great meal for $4. Some people pay more, some people pay less. It's just up to the individual how much you want to donate. So that's kind of how the back end of it works. Yes?
Is there any thing being considered for a meal place in Gillsville or Trempealeau?
Well, again, we had put out a bid to every community, every restaurant in our entire county, and encouraged people. And it was very detailed. There are a lot of requirements that need to be had, including, food safety, all of those kinds of requirements. They were sent to everybody in the county, so including Galesville and Trempealeau. So,
I guess I should also mention that the meals are open to anyone that's 60 years and older, or if you have a disability of some sort. I used to go, not that anymore?
That's only if they have a waiver. You got to be 60 or older. If you apply for a waiver because of a disability, it can be approved, but that's got to be approved.
Okay.
So, or unless there's a dining site, like we used to have a dining site in Brookside, any of the people who live in Brookside could have then, with a disability, eaten. But other than that, no, you got to be 60 or older.
Okay.
Sorry, Scott.
We have Deb Sukla in the back. She's actually standing, so Deb is our director for the Human Service Program.
One of the things I do want to mention is that when last fall, this is our second go-around on RFPs. We did an RFP for the sites last fall. We did again this year. I think the comment about the pandemic is 1,000% right. The Rainbow Cafe did in their bid, we didn't start it, but they said they'd like to explore the possibility of having a site at the Brookside Apartments a day or two a week. So that is something that we could explore with them as well if you want to pursue that option. That was from last fall. That's not from this go-round. We just said, let's just do the Rainbow site for now. And I know it's a surprise to Melissa because I haven't talked to her about it, so I apologize. I just all of a sudden realized that was when you mentioned Brookside. So that is a possibility if you want to be able to consider that. But as far as, we even had a place in Ettrick that had contacted us this winter and said we'd be interested. We made sure we sent them an RFP and we heard nothing from anybody. So, yeah, we sent it all around and again, there was, I can't think of it used to be the Hillbillies in Ettrick. I can't think of the name of it now, but they were interested in being able to bid, and then we got nothing from anybody. So we did pursue a lot of areas, just to answer that question. I don't want to take away your thunder, but I did want to just mention that, so.
Thank you, Deb.
Scott,
Yes.
I think maybe we as the committee, if we would go to the restaurant and talk to them, we might get a little farther than just, not that the mailing out wasn't good, because at least they got the packet. But if we would go to a restaurant and say, we feel that this is a need, can we try it? And, maybe they'd be interested.
I think you're right in that comment. I think we need to be very proactive on this. People aren't going to come to us. We have to go to them. And with the plan and everything, and seeing how we can do something. And I look at us in Arcadia, and I believe there is hope here. It's just right now with the pandemic and coming back, it might be a little difficult, but we can work on it. We can work on it. I truly believe Arcadia needs to have this because I'm elderly and I'm planning to stay in Arcadia, and I would like to have a place to go and have a meal like that. And let's face it, I think in Arcadia right now we have these home meals that we have from Quick Trip that you can buy and take out. But I think it's more than that. I think we need to have a place that they can congregate. I think it's good for them. There's been a lot of isolation, and I've seen our elderly kind of go downhill because of that, and I think they need something.
Melissa and I have actually discussed that and said that we need to do some work for the next period.
Yeah. So whatever I need to do, I'm going to go out now and probably Beth can come with me as well because we're Arcadia girls, so I guess we're not leaving either, so.
We could have, this would have to be done, you'd have to think a lot about this, but you could have a food fair like they had field fair for social workers where all the potential agencies come together to encourage students to do internships there. Go to, the southern, middle, and northern part of the state and have, like in Strum at the Village Inn, all of you from the ADRC and this committee could come and invite all the restaurant owners or food truck people or the church ladies to come and talk about how it's really critical to have these sites for people in all of Trempealeau County, not just here and there. That would take I don't think it would take that much work, but then you have the personal contact rather than a packet of paper, where people were really busy last month filling out PPPs, and I think all of that new grant money from the federal government was due at about the same time. So, maybe the paperwork might have just gotten lost in all the other stuff that private businesses and mom and pop restaurants were trying to do to stay alive.
And I agree wholeheartedly, and that's why when I totally agree. I think you need to have partners that are invested and interested in doing this, and that's what I do look at it as an opportunity. I do feel it's time to look at the strategy and where are the sites needed, where is there a lapse, where are services not happening right now, and starting those conversations. And I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to, like, when you talk about the group, your group that meets in July, I'd be happy to talk to them about what congregate dining is, what current sites we have, how that looks, inviting people to go out and see what the current sites are like, because I think it is. It's just like it's a time that we could do some really great things here.
Would you have to do something special to do like a pop-up thing with a food truck? Because I think we have we have parks, we have Petrick Park.
They
we
would
have
still have
Park
to
and
follow
Strum.
all
Right.
of the, food safety requirements, but I don't see where there would be any obstacles. Again, it's being done in other parts.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something we should think about. It, because outdoor dining can last from, maybe end of March through October, and how fun it would be to gather at the park in Osseo, or the big, the golf course park, or the park in Strum, or Petrick Park, or, the state park in Trempealeau. I mean, there's all kinds of to get people outside as well. Fresh air, bring your little blood pressure,
You're
do
right.
that for people. I mean, how fun would that be?
I think it'd be great.
Hook up with some of the great musicians we have in this area and have music in the afternoon. This could be really fun.
It could.
So if people are out chatting with restaurant owners, when would the next RFP be available for them to apply? Is it fall?
Whenever you say, we have the document ready, so we just change the dates and send it out whenever you want to release it.
So was this conversation a prelude to the fact that not very many people responded to the RFP that was sent out, or that was due June 3rd?
It was due June 3rd.
We just thought that there were some people that hadn't bid, maybe because of the pandemic
Yeah,
and with
right.
the
Oh, yeah, I'm
restrictions.
sure. I'm sure.
That's why it was sent out again.
And
'cause
filling out
normally-
government requests for grants, that probably took all
Yeah,
of their time.
Because normally it's only done the once for the 3-year
Right.
period and not done again.
Right.
Yeah, that is typically what we have done,
Right.
has been the 3-year period, and just because we believe it was because of the pandemic, there were fewer people that were interested and submitted bids this year, so.
I know that this isn't even on the agenda to make a decision, but maybe we could do it at the Human Services Board meeting. Maybe it should be yearly. 3 years is a long commitment when you're not sure your restaurant may even be open 3 years from now.
A lot of people was talking to me about in Brookside that we should have something to do, especially in the wintertime when we can't get out, and have something to do with the food, and to have something to have people come and talk to people, and then have food, because a lot of people can't get out in the wintertime, and we would like to have something to be done. And we have a nice dining room, and so we would like to have something to do with that.
Is it possible to change the cycle for RFPs and not have it be 3-year commitment?
The 3-year one has worked for many, many, many years, so we can change it to what we want it to be.
Yeah.
There isn't a requirement. I think the pandemic has really if it's worked forever, and now I should be on the microphone.
I mean, I'm just thinking this year was so difficult for restaurants. I mean, they're the people that suffered the most, those businesses. And to think about, will I even be open in 3 months, let alone 3 years?
Yeah, the 3-year cycle has worked for many, many, many years for us. And the fact that it isn't working now, I think, has everything to do with the pandemic and is a result of that. And the RFP is how many pages?
20?
Yeah, it's, I mean, it's.
Maybe that's an exaggeration. It's
But
quite a few pages.
I don't think it's in the ballpark. So you get this document, you're trying to keep your business afloat, it's a pandemic, and then you get this thing and you're like, yeah. And so for people to understand why it would be important, how it could help them out, how it could bring, family members might come have lunch with the seniors, so you could get other business coming in. I think that there's a lot to be gained. So I think we can release the RFP as many times as you want us to do, as often as you want us to. The 3-year cycle has worked. I think it isn't working because of the pandemic, so I'm not quite sure I'm ready to throw out the baby with the bathwater and change the system altogether, but it doesn't have to be 3 years. It's your call. So I think Melissa has some ideas of some options of things that we could be doing. And then also the option for the Brookside, we could be looking at that one as well with Rainbow.
I guess that's what I'm just a little bit unsure of how you all would want me to proceed. I am happy to start these conversations, and I could come back the next time and have some more concrete ideas based on this conversation. Be happy to talk to you more to kind of hear about what your ideas are and about Brookside. Very happy to start some conversations and formulate some things that are more concrete and come back the next time we meet to have a more conversation, if that's what people are wanting. Because
Can an RFP have sort of an open, not an end, well, it would be an ending. Does everyone have to be the same? So if we go to a year and somebody's already got a 3-year, well, I guess you would honor that until the contract was done. But I'm just thinking, if you got somebody that's kind of interested and say, well, I'd like to do it for a year, but then would I have the option of renewing?
They have, even the 3-year contracts have an option of getting out whenever they want to. Or we can end it if there's lack of performance. Quality issues or something like that. So even though it's a 3-year, it doesn't lock you in. There's options to get out, so that there is that piece. Melissa, do you want to jump ahead and maybe talk about some ideas about the Wanick Center? That might be helpful to this conversation as well.
Sure. Yeah, so as it says, discussing the Wanick Center partnership, the state, when I've started, the state has really encouraged counties, especially smaller counties like ours, to partner with groups, individuals, sites that have things that are already established. So I had reached out to Wanick Center and talked to them about just the opportunities that they have there, and potential for doing some partnering with them. So had met with Christine Rogotsky from the Wanick Center, if any of you know Christine. Strong Bodies program is an evidence-based physical fitness program. It is a weights program that has been around for a little while, and we have tried to get it up and going in our county for a little while. So maybe some of you that have been part of the council for a little while maybe have heard of that and remember that it kind of been started with Tri-County at one point. And then again, I think COVID happened, and so the trainers that were trained in the Strong Bodies are no longer at Tri-County. So had reached out to Wanick Center because they do have some senior programming that is already happening. So talked to them about potential interest in having any of their current instructors trained in the Strong Bodies program. And the thing about the Strong Bodies program and the way some of our dollars have to be spent, they need to be evidence-based programs. So the state has to recognize them as being programs that they will help fund. And so Christine is very interested in working with us and partnering with us and offering the Strong Bodies program. And so she and Lynn Sonatag from Arcadia, they're willing to be trained in the Strong Bodies program, and they're willing to do this program with us. So I'm super excited about that. We just haven't been able since Tri-County to have people that were interested in becoming certified as trainers. And right now the state, there's very few dates that they even offer this certification. Right now there is one remaining date in 2021, which is in August. And so Chris and Lynn are able, they're willing to go to Madison for the day and to get trained in doing this program. So, yes, so we're really excited about that, and to have that kind of caliber of people that have a passion and desire to do this, I think is really, really impressive. The other thing as well is that the Wanick Center with Christine has welcomed us in, and we're really looking at that as a way then to reach people and let them know about what the ADRC does. So we have a time set up tomorrow, so we're going to Wanick. We've, if any of you have seen it, we've had it. It's been talked about on WHTL. It's been on the Health Department, the Facebook page. That will be there from 9 to 11. And there's a couple of us from the ADRC that are going to be there, and we're going to just talk about what the ADRC is doing, talk about our congregate sites. We'll have our farmers market vouchers that are there, and also talk about our need for volunteers, and to talk about, it's a program that, again, we've had around for a while. It's called the Sip and Swipe Cafe, but it's a training that teaches seniors how to use technology. So if there is an interest, people can sign up for a class that then we would promote or have in July. So
Do you need something official from this group? A motion? No?
I would, yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, again, just something that's so established. I don't know if any of you have had the opportunity to go to Wanick Center and see what their vision is and what they're doing. They're doing a lot of intergenerational activities. Their library is there. They're encouraging seniors and high school students to go there. And they have childcare that's available for you if you want to go work out. And so my vision is, could we do something with Wanick Center, at the Wanick Center, looking at dining? Would we look at intergenerational activities, even for something like that? They've just been very receptive and open. Yes?
Where is the Wanick Center?
Sorry, the Wanick Center is right in Arcadia. It's part of, I shouldn't say, it's affiliated with the Arcadia School District.
Okay.
So it's attached to the school district.
Okay.
So Christine is an employee of the Arcadia School District.
Christine.
Her name is Christine Rogatsky. Mm-hmm. And Christine, I'm sure, would be willing to come and speak to our group at any point, and I'm sure that any of you would be able to go and tour that if you'd be interested. If any of you are available tomorrow, again, we will be there from 9 to 11 just doing outreach at the Wanick Center.
I gave blood at that Wanick Center. And there was Christine was there, and she gave me a tour of the building because I was waiting for David. And it was really very neat, all the machines they have. And she said if you are Gunderson or any doctor maybe, if you join them, like Gunderson pays everything except $5 for a membership there for a month.
They're very willing to explore with persons regarding your insurance, like you said, because many seniors' supplements do pay for fitness for use of those facilities. Yeah, so they will actually help you research what your insurance is and whether or not it pays for their memberships. Yeah. So you got a tour of the whole facility? Yes.
Gracious. I was just standing around, and she said, would you like to see it? So she took me all around. Very nice.
Is it special days that they have set aside, or?
That for anybody to go there, you mean?
You're talking about these classes and stuff you come in, you know.
So it's open, I believe it's open 7 days a week for people that have memberships there. We have just set up our time tomorrow just to do outreach. So that's what those 2 hours tomorrow that we will be there would be, just to talk about the ADRC. And the strong bodies, once they get certified to teach the strong bodies, that would be a class that would be there 2 times a week. We have definitely tried to do outreach to other parts of the county to find people that are interested in becoming certified. At this point, we have not gotten other people that are interested. Shelley Rui, which is one of our staff, has done a lot of work in trying to get other people certified. At this point, we haven't gotten that. Again, Tri-County had some people and now they don't. So the way that we look at it is, I look at it as we need to start somewhere. Wanick Center is they've kind of got the model in place for doing a lot of things there. They've got a beautiful facility. So hoping we can get some things established there, including the Strong Bodies class, and then we look to get that going in other places.
So say that you get something going, would they, if there had enough in different towns, would that bus of ours, could they pick them up and take them, or?
I love your thinking. I love your thinking. I do feel like that would be a possibility. Absolutely. And especially when you think about if we were to get senior dining in Arcadia, I just think there's so many opportunities. You could bus people or transport people to Arcadia.
It is a state-of-the-art facility. It's just amazing. I was there 2 years ago, I guess now, nothing last year, but it's very accessible. They have elevators if you can't make the stairs. There's a walking track around the whole second level. Well, not the whole second level, but men's and women's locker rooms, so if you sweat a lot, you want to shower before you go to senior meal, you can do that. It's just, and very welcoming. The staff are pretty amazing.
Like what Linda said, yeah, they're very
And Chris
amazing.
showed me that there's a steam room, which she said was really nice. Just go in and get all hot and.
We got that right now, right outside.
Yeah, just walk out the door. Walk outside and walk around the block. You get the same effect.
Car that's been in the sun.
Yeah.
But I do think that, there would be potential, I feel like, between the school district and Wanick Center itself, I feel like they're open to having conversations about just whatever we would be interested in. They've just been really helpful.
I think they'd be very open, very open.
I just was thinking about a fun thing, because you talk about they do a lot of intergenerational stuff. If there was a nutrition site there, you could have like lunch with your granddaughter or your grandson or your great-grandchildren, and then head to the gym, you could do so much if we got the seniors that we work with to be engaged with their family more and do stuff with, I think that would be so great.
Absolutely. There's so many just really neat things that you could do. Like, let's say if we had the Strong Bodies 2 days a week that was happening where, people could come in and do their hour-long fitness class, and then you could either have a breakfast beforehand, or you could have a dinner or lunch afterwards, and you could pair with a class, for example, where they would dine once a week, perhaps with the same kids out of a class. How fun it would be.
Good ideas. Because I think it's so important right now with not just seniors, but kids have been isolated too, and to get people to be more engaged with each other in a positive way rather than,
Absolutely, right.
We need it right now. Well, go for it. I'm here for you.
It's really close to the park as well, so, if you have a nice afternoon and you're over there, you go to class and you want to do your walking outdoors, go walk up and down the, what's it called, the Memorial, yep. It's,
The
very
thing
close to
about
the high school.
Arcadia too, I do feel it's centrally located. And again, it's just, you feel kind of like you've got to start somewhere. And if we can get things established and started, then that would be the model. And then you could look at other parts of the county. You can't, the way that I feel, you can't start 3 things at once. It would be hard to do that, but.
Establish a model.
A model that,
And then use it in other parts. Because I know Osseo School District has a great gym area that was at one time open to the public, kind of similar. With the Norski Nook to be a eating site. They say they're too busy, probably.
but they did do that.
Oh, they did?
At one point. That was a site.
Really?
Huh.
Are there,
Even the Dove Healthcare Center was
the
an
food was
option.
delicious there. I have no idea why people didn't go. I'll never understand that. And Ruth, you were such a nice host there.
Nobody would come.
I don't get it.
I always thought it was because it was too far out. Sure.
I think people sometimes get scared at going to a residential facility to eat lunch. Am I going to be living here someday? That thought was in my mind when I was there, and I'm like, no, I am not.
One gal that said it's depressing here.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really a depressing atmosphere. It was so pretty and nice views, and
I know you did, Mary.
yeah, I don't understand. I'll never understand that. So
It was fun, and then we played bingo.
Does anybody else have any feedback about, do you feel that a site like that, do you feel that people, is that something worth exploring?
Absolutely.
I think it is. I think it's a big plus here. And I know that Mr. Ron Wanick, if we approached him, because he's at the age where this would benefit him as well. We just had a nice article in the paper about him. So he's become 80 years old now, and that is a plus that this gentleman has come to Arcadia, and it's built up to this realm that we have. Arcadia has potential. We just need to, and I want to instill in ladies that are retiring in our future, what place do they have in supporting some of these things and doing things? And I think it is because we've all become so isolated, and people and it's more isolated than before. And I think there are programs that just need to, and maybe we need to take this to our city council.
yeah, I just had a long talk with Marla the other day.
And maybe you could be a highlight to come and speak to the city council about what's
I would love to
available
do
and
that,
what we can
'cause-
do in our community.
I would love to do that, and that's what I feel, just what we need to do is partner. We need to partner with other, groups just
That's right.
even libraries right now, they're trying to do some of the same things that we are. We all have the same vision. We want to meet people's needs and help people be healthy and.
Got a question or suggestion?
Yes.
I have a suggestion, and it may be too late. The Trempealeau County Fair is coming up. Could the ADRC set up a booth in the Merchants Building, maybe with the Wanick Center? And as long as you're going to a meeting tomorrow, it's just a suggestion. It helps us get the word out of what ADRC is.
I think that's something we could certainly explore, is having the ADRC part of the fair. When I meet tomorrow at the Wanick Center, I can ask them about whether or not they are planning on being at the fair.
Being that we didn't have a fair last year, I feel like we're going to have more people, maybe this year.
That's true.
Mhm.
That's a good idea, though. because
Yes.
I think there's still a lot of people that don't know what happens at the ADRC.
Agreed.
That's right. Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
I see they turned my mic.
And maybe next year for the dairy breakfast as well.
Good idea.
It's
Yeah.
this Saturday, so it's a little too late, but.
Yeah. Yeah.
I brought that up.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Just this week, Tammy brought it up.
I brought it up because we had it one year, and there's such a variety that come that I said even our farmers market vouchers next year we need to be on deck for that. 'Cause I think it's going to be a great turnout now that they turned it from drive-through to sit-down. So we've got a lot of things that can happen. You guys have a lot of great ideas. So.
Sounds like we're all definitely behind moving forward and expanding and letting Melissa do her thing. And so, if you have any objections, I don't think anybody does, but if you do,
So just,
be the time,
yeah, that moving forward and, because I'm excited. I don't know if you can tell. I would love to just continue those conversations and again, in 2 months, would like to just have talked to several of you and anybody that has any interest in talking to me about your ideas. And just having some more formal, like I said, just kind of letting you know what some more options are.
yep, sounds wonderful.
Here's just another thought. The Petrick Park is having its 50th anniversary of the park being part of the county.
Oh.
It's September of 2022, so there's time to plan. So the ADRC could have a presence there, and we're hoping we're going to do a lot of advertising for that event. So
Did you
Great.
say it's the 22nd of September?
I believe it's the 20. Do you remember?
It's
Yeah,
September
since
2022,
the
Dorothy.
third, yeah.
It's not till
I thought
it's
Bob
next
said-
year,
I thought Bob said it was
2022.
going to be this year.
No, it's 2022.
Okay.
Because the
I hadn't heard that yet, so.
Well, we're
lady-
just
The
planning.
lady that had donated this was my husband's aunt, and I was her guardian for several years. I took care of her for quite a few years.
Yep, so we're planning a
She's quite
big
a lady.
event.
No,
So
I
you're
think
welcome.
that's really important that we start to have that we have a presence at these community activities, because I agree. There's so many things that we do, and I think that a lot of people aren't aware of what we
We have a
do.
lot of things around
So.
here. Everybody's got so many.
And again, I would if anybody is available tomorrow from 9 to 11, come to Arcadia and see us and see what we're doing there. That's just, it's kind of, since I started, it's the first real outreach that we are doing, so.
I think we need to move on. Number 7, acknowledge and accept donation.
So I was contacted by Kulig, Mahalik, and Franklin, attorneys in Independence, the Roman Shabila estate, who's a gentleman from Independence. I did not know him. Did any of you know him?
She knows them all.
Okay. And I don't know, then you can, if you have anything to add, but we were notified then that his estate has donated $10,000 to both our meals program, so our home delivered meals program, $10,000. And then senior services, $10,000. So $20,000 he donated to us.
Amazing. And wonderful, yep.
Good job.
Isn't that wonderful? Yes.
That is wonderful.
His name is Roman, I say Shabilla, that's the way I pronounce it.
It's easy to
So
say
it's
Prisbilla.
the P-R-Z-Y-B-I-L-L-A. Roman Shabilla.
It's
Okay.
Is it Presbilla?
Presbilla.
Presbilla.
Shabil, depending where you live.
It depends on who you are.
Or where,
My family, we say Shabilla. but-
depends on where you live, Beth just informed me.
Okay.
Do we need a motion to accept this donation?
No, we do? I thought we did away with that.
Well, the ADRC, the Human Services Board did, but
Okay.
it's also going to be on the Human Services Board agenda because it's so large, I think we should formally accept.
Okay, all right.
I would entertain a
I'd make a
motion.
motion to accept the donation that was left to the ADRC by Mr.
Roman.
Roman.
Shabilla.
by Roman.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept the donation. Any further comment? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Unanimously carried. Thank you. That is wonderful.
Yes.
Do we need to, well, I suppose we should ask Eileen, after sitting through this meeting, do you have an interest in joining this group? Have to think about it? Okay. I don't know if we need to, don't need to do anything? Okay.
The process for membership is that the name, microphone down.
Yeah, I was going to say we
I
should get
took
you
your
a
spot.
remote.
The process for membership of this group, and there are 2 spots open. One is for, there's certain criteria of different populations you have to represent. And so the process is that the names would go to the Human Services Board. They would then approve those names and send them on to the county board, and the county board would officially approve them. That's why with Mr. Robertson, and by the way, welcome to the ADRC advisory. With that process, he was interested in this about a month or 2 ago, but it's a process by the time you run into all the committees and the board and stuff like that. So you won't meet again until August, I think, and so if you have names, we could run it through the June or July Human Services Board meeting and then the July County Board meeting, so that would be good. At your August meeting, we will be talking about the 2022 budget, because we'll be in the neck deep in budget at that point.
How fun. Deb's favorite time of the year, I'm sure.
Mr. Chairman?
Especially if you get a vacation after it.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes?
Ms. Youngbauer had the audacity to send me a copy of the bylaws, and I read them. And I took note of the fact that under Article 4, Section 2, the regular meetings are to be held on the 3rd Tuesday of every other month at 9:30. Well, I could be wrong, but this, I think, is the 2nd Tuesday of the month, and it's 10:30. So I don't know how fussy you are about bylaws, but
Are those, on the front, are they date, what's the date on the front page? Is there a date up in the corner?
this is what Ms. Youngbauer sent me.
Okay. Is there a date up in the corner on that front page?
It said it was approved on July 20th of 2010.
So the issue is, no, you bring up an excellent point that we need to bring forward to the, probably the next meeting. So in 2010, those were accurate and correct, but in 2010, the ADRC was separate from aging. They were their own, they weren't part of the aging area. And in late 2013, early 2014, I lose track of the dates, we merged aging and ADRC together, which has been one of the best things that the board did to approve that. And so with that, there's a county board resolution that actually determines how many members you should have that I'm not even sure matches what's in the bylaws. And so we need to match that resolution to the bylaws and get that fixed. And so I think we should add that to the August agenda. We can bring forward some recommendations for improvements on the bylaws. And Alan, if you got additional items because you view things through a good lawyer eye that the rest of us don't always see things, if you have any other input, we'd love to hear that too. But I appreciate you bringing that up. That's an excellent point. We need to add that to our next agenda.
As long as Omar Sharif agrees too, and, okay, thank you for that. Yeah, it's something that a lot of us don't think about, bylaws on a regular basis, but, yep, good lawyer mind there. We appreciate it. Now that at this time, we usually do public comments, if anybody has anything that is of interest to people who are aging. Often it's, people talk about scams that are out there, and
Melissa, do you want to talk about the home visits for the signing up for the vaccine?
I had recently reviewed, I guess just last week, had reviewed the vaccine percentages of seniors in our county that have been vaccinated, and again, was so impressed by the numbers. So I believe right now it's about 94% of our seniors, so 65 plus, have been vaccinated, fully vaccinated in Trempealeau County. So that's wonderful. Prior to my starting, we did receive some monies, a COVID grant that was specifically aimed at vaccinating homebound individuals. Yeah, well, yes, just vaccinating homebound individuals. So certainly people have called throughout the pandemic, the ADRC, wanting information and wanting assistance in getting vaccinated. So I am just, at this point wondering if there are any individuals that actually may be considered homebound that are unable to get to a clinic or a site to get vaccinated, and wondering people's thoughts about, would that be something that you would want us to try to target those individuals?
to me, it sounds good. Would the public health nurse be able to go to that setting?
I have reached out to Barb Barzak, and am actually hoping to meet with her this week. One of her staff also, she and one of her staff at this point are really responsible for scheduling the vaccines. So I'm wanting to have that conversation with them. Just not sure, what people's thoughts are. The number is so high, but if there are any persons out there that are unable to leave their home for whatever reason, I feel like I would want to do what we could to make that happen.
So if any of you know of somebody, call, the ADRC or Melissa directly and let them know that the people are out there.
I guess, are people supportive of that, of making that effort of, okay.
Yes, I saw that on TV that they had commercial about ARGC, and they was talking about the vaccine and that, and I think it's wonderful.
Good idea. Okay. That's what I feel. I don't feel the numbers, could be high, but if there is anybody, I would want to do what I could to.
Have you asked the drivers for the meal deliverers? I mean,
We had distributed information to all of our individuals that are receiving the home delivered meals, with wanting them to contact us if they needed help, and we have certainly had some people that, again, we've helped get scheduled, and get to, and even transportation, getting to vaccine sites. But the health department has done a wonderful job, I feel, too, in helping people get vaccinated. But there still may be that population that just may not be leaving their home for whatever reason if they can't. Yes.
I worked
There was
at the volunteer, too. You go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
was just going to say, there was one gal I took, and she wasn't vaccinated and didn't plan on it.
I think there is that. There are some people that definitely just aren't interested in becoming vaccinated. Absolutely.
I think one way that you could get that out more is take all the churches in the area and they can put that in their weekly bulletin. Because if anybody reads that bulletin, it's our elderly. And I did a lot of volunteering at Tri-County when we had the vaccinations going. And there I felt bad because there were some people that were brought there that really needed a lot of help. And I was just thinking if they could be homebound and somebody could go to them, that would have been perfect. Because it was very challenging for them and for families bringing them. So I think that would be a good idea.
So that is telling me then that there may be some people that have just made the decision, yeah, it's not easy to get out, it's kind of a hardship.
They're so isolated, they have no one that can bring them or whatever, and that, you know, I think if you get that out in the church bulletins now, so that those people would see that and who they can call, I think that would be good. And get it out to all the home health agencies or people that go out and do home health, that they're aware of that to get it to their people.
That's a good idea.
I know it's a lot of people from Brookside, they don't want to get vaccinated, they don't believe in vaccinations, and it's terrible because I think I got vaccinated and I'm happy to do that because I'm safe and I like to be safe.
But we are preparing our next newsletter. All of you should have gotten the May and June newsletter. And we do send these, we do mail these to churches or bring them to churches. So we could definitely, well, even better if we had more information about the COVID vaccine and they can contact us for more information. They could be right in here too, but we could also include a letter that could be put into bulletins of the churches, so.
Sounds like a good plan. Anything else for public comment? We're running over our hour.
Talked about scams. There is one that's going around, and it's, you get a email from Microsoft saying that they've done some work on your computer and you need to call this number. And what happened to a friend of mine, her mom got scammed by this. And you call this number, and immediately when you hit that number, they can enter your computer. I don't know how they do that, but her mom could see that they were in her computer. So they told her she needed to send this money, and she went and got an enormous amount of money out of her checking account. But thank God she took it to a Walgreens in Chippewa Falls, so congratulations to that Walgreens, because the clerk there immediately said this didn't seem right, that this elderly lady had a big wad of cash and wanted a money order for it. So she asked her more questions, and she told this woman that this was a scam. And we just got that, my husband just got that email the other day.
I've gotten it twice now in the last month.
So don't click on anything and don't call any number, because as soon as you call that number, you're hooked into there. So, and then Microsoft, Apple, they're never going to want you to call them, you know, so.
Just for luck, you know, people leave messages. About 2 weeks ago, I listened to my messages, and this come from a jail. I don't know which county, and he said, I need to talk with Dora Jean Blaha. And so I listened to it, and then I just deleted it. And I thought, my gosh, they're even calling me. I get scams every day. I'm even getting called from the jails now. But he gave his name and everything, but I didn't pay attention to it. I just shut it off.
Another thing that happened to me is I got a call from somebody that I had a cashier's check for $1.5 million. All I needed to do was call his number.
Yeah. Then I got a call from somebody saying it was Publishers Clearinghouse and that had one.
I called Publishers Clearinghouse and asked them if they call. She said, we do not, and so when I got one of them, and I said, they do not call people. And they said, oh, yes, I said, no, they do not, and I hung up.
I got the same one.
Yeah.
And I said, no. I got the numbers. Those are nice thoughts, though, that I want $5,000 a month for the rest of my life.
Yes, I got one of them a couple of years ago, and I thought this, and my son said, Mom, that's just not. So I took it to the bank, and he was so happy I brought it in. So we called this bank number that was on there. It was in California, and as soon as they saw it was a bank calling, they clicked it off. So
I got a lot of telephone calls like that, and all I do is click.
well, this came in
That's
the mail.
policy.
It was a big check.
Somebody says, that's mean. I said, no, it's not. It's not mean, I just click. I don't like to have people call me.
Okay.
I like to have people call me, but not. Yeah.
We're at the end of our agenda. Our next meeting, August 10th, 10:30. Same time, same station. So thank you all for coming today, and keep up the good work.
For those
Go
that
ahead.
are on the nutrition committee, we're having a nutrition committee meeting.